in the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souq News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souq News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souq News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souq News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, the knowledge to make informed decisions.
On News Hour today, Presidency rejects budget pardon claims, Senate to convey. Oil earning rise by 450 billion naira in 2 months, says federal government. Japan's economy avoid recession, growth below expectations. Saudi Aramco to cut Arab heavy crude supply to Asia in April for maintenance. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Souq News, your home for developmental news from Nigeria and beyond. I am Grace Komolafe. Nigerian presidency has rejected the claim of pardoning the 2024 budget by an additional 3 trillion naira. This followed accusation by Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central PDP that the executive is implementing a budget other than the one approved on January 1, 2024. This came as Senate said it would meet over the matter on Tuesday, using its internal mechanism and control process. According to the lawmaker, a 25 trillion naira budget was debated and passed, not the 28.7 trillion naira that is currently being implemented. However, in a statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the presidency described Ninge's claims as false, asserting that Tinubu had initially presented a 27.5 trillion naira budget to the National Assembly on November 29, 2023. It says this budget included 9.92 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure, 8.25 trillion naira for debt service, and 8.7 trillion naira for capital expenditure, contrasting Ninge's claim. The presidency emphasized that it was impossible for the Senate to have debated and passed a 25 trillion naira budget that was never presented. Renowned journalist Bayo Olaoye is commemorating an illustrious 50-year career in the media industry today, March 11, 2024. Olaoye, a seasoned professional, has played an important role in shaping the landscape of journalism with his dedication to excellence and unwavering commitment to the truth and integrity. Starting his journey in 1974 as a reporter with Radio Nigeria and works now as the head of news desk at Souq News, Olaoye has witnessed and reported on significant historical events, providing the public with insightful and unbiased news coverage.
My name is Joseph Adebayo Olaoye. I thank God for today, March 11, 2024, because I started 50 years ago, March 11, 1974 at Radio Nigeria, then Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. During that period, we were dealing with initials. I mean, people were identified by initials. For instance, I was popularly known as JBO or JB0, Joseph Bayo Olaoye. the O was turned to 0. So if you see me and you say DB0, I will know that, yes, you were with me in Radio Nigeria. I also in Radio Nigeria for several years. I covered several beats. I was one of those that established the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria. I also covered the airports. I covered the National Assembly. And after some years, I moved over to Inside Communications at the under Chief Biodo Shubanjo. I was a pioneer staff of the then Quadrant, the Quadrant Company, Nigeria's first indigenous professional PR consultancy. I was with Quadrant for about 12 years, and later on I went into private practice for some time until my career was resuscitated courtesy of His Excellency Ambassador Victor Walsh Oluwafemi, who gave me an opportunity to serve with Souq News, a fantastic organization to work with, and with I'm bringing my wealth of experience and exposure to bear on the operations of Souq. I thank God for my life. I thank God for those who have mentored me, those who have had an influence on me. Like I told you, Andy Anarado, he was the chief reporter with Radio Nigeria, attached to State House. He was very close to me. He mentored me. He taught me several things about reporting. I'm also grateful to Mr. Shubanjo, Biodo Shubanjo, the advertising guru, who gave me an opportunity to serve with the Quadrant Company. I joined Insight under 6 months. I was posted to start the Quadrant Company. And I started with Phil Osagi and Ohi Alegbe and others. My journey has been exciting and has been very fruitful. I've met several thousands of people, both high and low, and I will not take. I don't think if I come again, I will do nothing else but the media. My children are not attracted to media. They are all in the financial world, maybe as a revolt against the torment and the rigors that I went through as a reporter. As a reporter then, we had all it takes. We were given all the tools to work with in Radio Nigeria. And I am the better for it. And I thank God that as a professional, over 50 years experience, I have gone through the gamut of the whole media. Radio, television, public relations, and advertising.
Friends and well-wishers extend their congratulations. Bayolawi's milestone serves as an inspiration and a testament to the enduring power of quality journalism in the ever-evolving media world. And away from that, following widespread reactions from private sector group, the federal government has suspended the implementation of the Expatriate Employment Levy, EEL. The decision, which was announced by the Interior Minister, also earned support from the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA. According to the government, resolution also include pausing the implementation of the levy for further consultations, forming a joint committee to review the EEL policy and deferring the rollout of the levy as initially proposed. Also, a human rights organization has expressed concerns about a significant increase in expatriate levies, prompting them to write an appeal to the president. In response to the suspension, analysts at KPMG described it as a welcome development, indicating that the government was responsive to stakeholders' concerns and emphasizing the importance of positive dialogue before revisiting the implementation of the EEL to protect Nigeria's interests and foster economic growth. Moving on, the Naira has depreciated by 4.9% last week, reaching 1,627.40 Naira against the dollar despite increased internal reserves, which rose to 34.11 billion as of March 7, 2024. from $33.016 billion on January 2, 2024, marking a 2.83% year-to-date accretion. At the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM, the Naira further declined, widening the gap between it and the parallel market. Street sales closed at 1,600 Naira to the dollar, while NAFEM trades range between 1,400 and 1,652. In the forward market rates declined by 1.2% to 1,600.35 Naira for 1 month, and by 2.1% to 1,841.52 Naira for 1 year. Despite challenges, analysts anticipate the Naira trade within similar bands across forex segments, supported by regulatory measures and increased foreign exchange inflows. A Nigeria Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has announced a surge in yearly nurse enrollments from 28,000 to 68,000, with a target of reaching 120,000 by year end. This initiative aims to tackle the shortage of healthcare professionals in line with government's directive for significant recruitment. Alongside the increase in nurse number, enrollment for doctors, dentists and pharmacists have also doubled, bolstering efforts to fortify the healthcare workforce and elevate service quality. Dr. Alausa also introduced new regulations regarding healthcare professionals seeking opportunities abroad, mandating resignation before pursuing overseas roles to ensure fairness and streamline transitions. This directive, issued via a presidential executive order, aims to optimize healthcare staffing and maintain a balance between individual career aspirations and national healthcare needs. Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has implored President Bola Tinubu to reconsider the closure of Nigeria's border, citing escalating hardship faced by citizens. The prolonged closure has contributed to soaring commodity prices, exacerbating the challenges already prevalent in the country. Governor Yusuf emphasized the critical need for broader reopening, particularly to alleviate the strain during the scarce month of Ramadan. Additionally, he praised President Tinubu's intervention in the National Food Initiative and urged equitable distribution of seized food. He urged an equitable distribution of seized food items in Kano to benefit those most affected by prevailing difficulties. In response, Controller General Adewale Adeniyi affirmed the Nigerian Customs Service commitment to strengthening community ties and implementing policies aimed at addressing food scarcity hardship in the state. Moving on, the Federal Island Revenue Service, FIRS, takes a significant step towards business-friendly reforms by introducing a self-registration model on the Tax Pro Max platform. Newly registered entities can now independently and conveniently complete their FIRS registration, offering a streamlined process that saves time and resources. This innovation is poised to enhance efficiency, transparency, and overall ease of doing business while aligning with the government's ambitious plan to increase Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio. And in the aviation sector, Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo has shared that the Nigerian government is actively working with major French aircraft leasing companies to make Airbus planes available for leasing by private Nigerian airlines. Keyamo made this announcement through his official X account, highlighting that he recently led a delegation of senior government officials from Nigeria aviation sector and representatives from private airlines to visit Airbus headquarters in Occitanie, France. During their visits, they engaged in crucial meetings with prominent aircraft leasing companies to negotiate terms. AI in the minister underscores the government's objectives to ensure that these aircraft are made available to local carriers to economical rates, enabling them to operate more efficiently on both domestic and international routes, and potentially leading to reduction in travel costs for passengers. To secure this leasing agreement, the delegation provided substantial assurances to the leasing companies regarding the safety of their asset in Nigeria. Following the productive discussions, the delegation was given a tour to explore various models of Airbus planes accessible to Nigerians' local airline operators at highly affordable rates. This initiative follows Minister Keyamo's recent trip to France, where he led the delegation for a 4-day Nigerian-France bilateral business forum. The primary focus of this visit was to strengthen cooperation and attract private sector investment from French companies. With the aims of enhancing Nigeria's aviation infrastructure, the delegation explored potential opportunities in sites such as Marseille, Toulouse, Orly, and Paris, seeking to encourage French private sector investment in Nigeria's aviation industry. And now we take a short break and return shortly for more stories. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. And now we move to the rest of the story. The yen strengthened against the dollar earlier today amid indication that the Bank of Japan may exit negative interest rates at its upcoming policy meeting, while expectations of a Federal Reserve rate cut in June persisted. The dollar index remained near a 2-month low due to the cooling U.S. labor market data, with the dollar easing to 146.96 yen, nearing Friday's 5-week low. Analysts anticipate dollar-yen to remain under pressure this week, with potential sales at 148 levels. While the dollar index could test support at 101, in contrast, a growing number of BOJ policymakers consider ending negative rates, coinciding with Japan's annual wage negotiations. Meanwhile, traders anticipate a 73% chance of a Fed rate cut by June, as Fed Chair Jerome Powell hinted at potential easing. The euro and sterling were steady, while Bitcoin hovered below its record peak. Moving on, India's trade minister has announced the conclusion of an economic pact with 4 European countries, marking the end of nearly 16 years of negotiations. Under the agreement, the European Free Trade Association, comprising Switzerland, Norway, Ireland, and Liechtenstein, will invest $100 billion over 15 years in India, burgeoning market of 1.4 billion people. In exchange, India will remove or reduce high customs duties on 95.3% of industrial imports from Switzerland, excluding gold. This modern trade deal also encompasses elements such as intellectual property rights and gender equality, aiming for a fair and equitable outcome for all parties involved. Ratification by the signatory countries is required before the agreement can take effect, with Switzerland aiming for completion by 2025. This development comes as Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks a third term ahead of general elections scheduled for May. And lastly, Chinese Ambassador Xiao Qin says China's investigation into tariffs on Australian wine is on the right track, though he refrained from confirming the Australian government's assertion that the dispute would be settled this month. Australia's trade minister and head had stated a day earlier that China would conclude its review of the year-on-long wine tariff by the end of March. The tension stemmed from China's imposition of various tariffs on Australian exports, including coal and lobsters, starting in 2020 amid deteriorating relations between the two nations over issues like Australia's call for an inquiry into the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. While Australia lodged complaints with the World Trade Organization over China's actions, it agreed to suspend the disputes after China lifted the tariffs. But the standoff regarding the wine tariffs, some as high as 218%, remains unresolved. Thank you for joining us on News Hour. Many thanks for watching. Souq Post continues after now. My name is Grace Komalafe. Good afternoon.